The Rivers State legislative elections held on March 19 did not come without a lot of controversy. So many Nigerians, including a core member, were killed in that exercise, and Nigerians are wishing that they would not see that kind of election in future, even as more governorship elections are lined up within the next 1 year. And the issue has been with Rivers and how to ensure credibility and violence-free elections in the country. The results declared so far by the Independent National Electoral Commission: House of Assembly election, 12 results declared so far, House of Representatives 4, and Senate, no result yet declared. During the election day, Independent National Electoral Commission announced that elections were cancelled in 8 of the local government areas following irregularities and insecurity noticed by its officials. And one of that local government is Thai local government. But some people in Rivers State said they believe the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is set to announce the result of that election, which is had earlier announced to have cancelled, saying it has it on good authority that INEC is bent on announcing that result and possibly awarding it to a particular party. They are basing their claims on the statement credited to the electoral officer for the local government, that's Emmanuel Eboti, when he gave indications during the day of the elections that all was not well with elections in Thai local government area. Let's share his statement with you.
We received materials. We distributed these materials in the presence of security agencies cutting across SSS, the police. In fact, Immigration and Civil Defense were also with us, and our supervisory team from Abuja. After distribution, full compliments were also given for this assignment, and the challenge we faced in the course of movement was that of security, because we needed to be too sure that these materials get to their various destinations. I kept on making several calls to the police, and at the same time keeping in touch with the SSS. At the end of the day, effort was also made to begin to lead some of the wards. But as we are talking, thank God, supervisors and monitors from Abuja are in our midst. We are already getting security reports that materials have been identified. Some of our personnel have also been taken to unknown destinations. And if that is the case, on our own part, we will not afford to say that the personnel sent out and the materials should be rigged, as we continue to get the information which we are already documenting. This all will form part of our reports, and good enough, since you have come, I'll also advise that you put your petition or protest in writing.
Where do I need to go? Hello? Where do I need to go? I'm telling you that my men have been kidnapped, and there is no way I will tell you that this is where I can get them. They must be cancelled. They must be cancelled as far as I remember as the EO. I am getting information from the field, and I am putting this information together and to support whatever I am doing. That is also why I requested that there should be a petition.
Okay, and Thai local government was one of the 8 local governments in Rivers State where the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, announced cancellation of voting during the March 19th date for the legislative election in that state. And joining me in the studio to take a look Out insinuations coming from Rivers State that some results may still be announced by INEC is political and civil rights activist Livingstone Wechie. Welcome to Matters Arising.
Thanks for having me, Mitch, and good evening, viewers.
Now, the fact is that INEC had during that, I remember vividly what happened, that the first 6 local government areas were cancelled, voting in those places were cancelled, and thereafter 2 additional, and Tai is one of them. Am I right?
You're absolutely correct, because the footage you just aired from the electoral officer for Tai falls within what we say, what we call in law, res ipsa locator. The fact speaks for itself. The man has admissibly stated that the election that was to hold had been marred with irregularities, violence, and records of kidnap of the INEC officials. As such, according to him, he could no longer guarantee the security and safety of his men. As such, and also he has also recommended that the elections must be cancelled. And following this report from him, the REC of the state, that is Amedi Koiwak, issued a statement the following day, being 20th of March, stating that elections within 8 local governments, first was 6, like you did mention, and then the other one, particularly Tai, was categorically mentioned that following the violence that trailed the election, that the whole thing had to be put off. So you see why it is important that INEC should stick to its gun and not go back to it from it, because it had announced to the whole world, it's on record from what the EO said here, that he got reports from the field. He even kept calling the police and the DSS, and reports reaching him was the fact that his men were no longer safe. And that was actually what led to the both cancellation and suspension of that particular election. Now we got reports that at the RAC, while electoral materials were being put together, the point where the officials were to take off to the various wards and units, that some Hilux vans painted in military colors arrived, and then some commando-looking military officials ordered the electoral officers to drive in a convoy with them to an unknown destination. And part of what we got from our eyewitness accounts is that they got to a particular ward in Tai, that's Ward 2, where they were besieged by protesting voters who insisted that the materials be made available to them so they can cast their votes, only for the military to retaliate by shooting sporadically into the air, resulting in the death of a woman. And several other wards had similar experiences. One of them,
making strong allegations against the military.
I state this on good authority, and given that before this time I've been signatory to a petition to the Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and we were invited to the House of Reps Committee on Army, where we made our case over the planned deployment of soldiers to the states, which they had indeed deployed. And there were reports of extrajudicial killings by the army in Rivers State, which we gave evidence, even though they are still denying that anybody died. That is the same Ogoni area, Yege community, where one Solomon Ndibara was purportedly being haunted. But again, I think that alarm we raised has been confirmed by the incidents that took place during this rerun in Rivers State.
You said that the INEC is likely moving towards announcing results. How did you arrive at that?
No, it's
conclusion. Nothing has come so far.
Well, you don't need anything to come from INEC. People are monitoring them, and mind you, before this time, even in local governments,
if nothing had come from INEC,
no, you don't need to.
So that means it's speculative.
No, it's not speculative. It's a claim based on facts. And what we have done now is a preemptive action. And the law allows you to take preemptive steps to protect your rights. You would not wait until your right has been waived. Like they say, equity aids the vigilant, not the indolent. As such, it is very, very clear from the activities of INEC. You remember that the Rivers State Governor during the week raised alarm that INEC was about announcing results in local governments where elections were suspended, which the INEC National Director for Media came to debunk. But as I speak to you now, Amina Zakari is in Port Harcourt. leading a committee of
That's
5
INEC National
Commissioner in charge of operations. She's in Port Harcourt as I talk to you now, having constituted a committee by herself, chaired by herself, to investigate a matter that indicts her, particularly the TAI and the various other LGAs, where it was alleged that she influenced what INEC, was doing, and that she's about carrying out an investigation, which report, doctored by her, will then lead to the announcement of a result to an election that never held. Now these are the suspicions, and there are reasons to suspect. And again, I think INEC also is contributory to these controversies, like you called it, because during the rerun there were reports of either fake results, no results, in betrayal of a statement by INEC that it was ready for the election, and that actually resulted in so much tension in the state, which is why up until now, even in LGAs like Ikwere local government area, where it is reported that elections were concluded, results collated, and at the point where it was clear that a certain party was taking the lead, a candidate of the other party was even on social media, was on video demanding from the electoral officer, refund me my money. It's gone viral, it's not in denial. So it is very clear that there is a plot to subvert as well as manipulate the existing process. But let me state this for the records, that what we are doing here is to ensure that the rights of the voters are protected and defended, because INEC would have been partisan if it goes ahead to announce results in LGA. There was no election in that local government. There is an individual in that area called Baron Piggy who was accused of, allegedly leading soldiers and diverting the materials to his private home. And this is an individual who was equally petitioned to the Senate to investigate following his alleged role in the control of the military around River State's penultimate rerun. And I believe that it's in the interest of the Nigerian state that INEC should not now be enmeshed in this kind of, madness. Because
have you reached out to INEC? Have you tried to find out from INEC whether there are plans to announce this result from Thai local government?
INEC has been accused by the interested parties, and INEC at the national has come to deny that there is no such plan.
And you're not satisfied with the details?
I as an individual, as a citizen, as of right, I am not satisfied. I have had reasons to doubt what INEC is saying now, because what happened and played out in River State was mainly an act, put it in a scenario where the voters chose to defend their votes, even in the face of the highest provocation, in the face of bullets by a garrison of soldiers that began to take control and determine the election process at their dictate. But they were greeted by a very vigilant and intelligent resistance by the voters of River State, because it was very clear what the mantra they call federal might was playing out. But you see, there is a limit to which these things can go. But the submission is that, from what the REC has said, I think we are even doing INEC so much good to raise this alarm and address this issue, so it does not now find itself in the gutters, because that is where it has positioned itself.
What do you expect INEC to do?
What INEC should do, there is a subsisting status quo, suspending elections in 8 LGAs, including Thai LGA, where there is a candidate, one Baron Piggy of the APC, and then there is another one, I think from Eleni, also one Jacobson and Bina of the PDP, who is equally vying for the same slot of the House of Reps. So what I expect INEC to do at this point, INEC has issued statements on 20th of March, signed by Anyedi Ikoiwak, the REC, to the effect that given the violence and irregularities that trailed the planned election, and the fact that the elections did not hold, that there will be a new date fixed for a rerun. INEC should do something simpliciter. Fix a date for a rerun. Let the voters determine their future. Don't determine it for them, because it will lead to some level of tension in the area. You cannot even, project the extent of that tension and what it may result in. So INEC should be honorable enough and become apolitical, become non-partisan. Because from what INEC is doing now, INEC appears by its conduct to be playing the bidding of certain preferred candidates. And that's totally unacceptable. We are all watchers in the polity. There are states that are traditionally PDP states without conceding. Assuming without conceding that Rivers State is to the contrary. Rivers State has its own stake. That is to say, you can point at Lagos State and say Lagos is a traditional APC state, or Kano, whatever. But again,
or better not you can say Lagos is under being controlled at the state government level by APC and Rivers State by the PDP.
It has come
the PDP state.
It has come from
people.
It has come from you.
Within the state that are sympathetic.
Beautiful. It has come from you. We're talking about predominance. Now, predominantly, but that's not the issue, at the moment. The issue at the moment is that there is palpable tension within the Rivers Southeast Senatorial District, that INEC is about playing to the gallery to compromise the process. INEC has suspended election in 6 LGs within the Rivers Southeast, and then one that is a local government that falls within the Rivers East, and then another Akokotor that falls within Rivers West. Those are the two that were subsequently announced to make it 8. INEC should maintain its grounds and refuse to be induced by anyone, and be bold enough, in keeping with its commitment to ensure credible, free, fair election, conduct a fresh rerun. The ball is in their court. INEC has a statutory right and duty to do so.
If you're not convinced with the assurances from Nick Dazan, the INEC spokesman, that there will be no results in places where elections were cancelled, do you expect a high official from INEC to make that pronouncement before?
My satisfaction will be full the moment that statement is lived up to, because we've seen a lot of rocket science magic by INEC in recent times. And if they are not held to the jugular, they will put you in the dark and you remain there. So what we are doing here, we are not being speculative. This is what watchers are seeing coming. And we are insisting that what INEC has said, and nothing more pretentious, should be abided by. Let INEC do what they have said they will do, which is a rerun in the areas where elections were cancelled. Because the value we place on the citizens, that value is much higher than what we place on the political parties. We were first citizens and indigenous before people joined political parties. So we will not sacrifice the interest of the larger populace, on the altar of partisan, interest. As such, I believe that INEC owes a duty to do the bidding of the public, not do the bidding of the parties. If you do the bidding of PDP, we will resist you. If you do the bidding of APC, we will resist you. Do the bidding of the people according to law.
INEC has said it will return to Rivers State till all the necessary security guarantees are given to it, and the atmosphere is very conducive to conduct any further election, because the body admitted that some of these officials were kidnapped, many were threatened, and their safety was at risk. Now, going forward, what do you expect INEC and other critical agencies involved with conduct of election to put in place in the event of another rerun election?
In all fairness to INEC, I quite sympathize with them, because they have found themselves in a very precarious situation. But you see, that is where they have to be resolute. And again, remember that certain officials of INEC have been indicted as accused, particularly Amina Zakari. Her name rings a bell all over Rivers State of having a hand in the manipulations that have taken place. And I think INEC should not INEC should not only deny but take steps to investigate the likes of Amina Zakari and the electoral officer and every other of its officials that have been accused one way or the other. Because any attempt to continue to work with such persons in the rerun for Rivers State will raise a lot of suspicion. The likes of Amina Zakari should stay clear and run very far from Rivers State and allow the people to decide. There is a wreck in that state. She can't bring her interest to bear here. So I think on the issue of security,
if INEC hierarchy decides to send her to Rivers State, those in Rivers State, they don't have that, they are not in a position to determine.
no, INEC should listen because
superintend over elections in
the credibility of INEC is in the balance, and INEC should be very, very conscious of that. Nobody will come to dictate for INEC, but INEC cannot also overrule the voice of the people.
You want INEC
now? INEC should be non-partisan. It should show concern. INEC should show Rivers people that the allegations leveled against Amina Zakari and her co-travelers is being investigated. And one of such proofs is not for Amina Zakari to preside over a committee in Rivers State to investigate allegations leveled against her. You cannot be a judge in your own case. It's a fundamental principle and practice. As such, what I pray for is that the Nigerian security agencies should investigate its men. The election in Rivers State, but for the resolution by the voters, was strongly manned by the Nigerian army. We have evidence to that effect. We have petitioned the National Assembly. We're expecting a visit by the Army Committee to Rivers State for a town hall meeting to come and hear from the people directly. Because you cannot begin to stage manage insecurity, so-called, and then come to Abuja here to carry some miscreants to protest for state of emergency. Over which state? Okay,
Livingstone Wechie is a political and civil rights crusader. You can see the anger becoming angry over the situation in Rivers State, but here we don't allow our anger to take over us. He believes that INEC is in the process of announcing the result of election conducted in Thai local government area of Rivers State. That was March 19, and he says INEC should, if of course they're on that track, should think otherwise. But of course INEC has since denied such moves, saying it can only return to Rivers for further elections only when the situation is conducive. Maybe the next few days or weeks will determine the direction INEC will follow. But thanks so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
That is it for today. The program returns to Tuesday with half an hour edition. My name is Amiche Nakua.